Hello nerds and welcome to another episode of Skywars where I re-recorded because I accidentally recorded the whole thing in widescreen mode, so basically half of the screen is not visible, which is the worst thing that can happen to a person, honestly. So subscribe to my channel so it does not happen to anyone ever again. Anyhow, so we're talking about Jehovah Witnesses because that is fun. In case you do not know who these people are, they're basically the people who knock at your door at inappropriate times over the week. So yeah, these people are fun at parties. And can we please hit this person? It would be much appreciated if we can actually hit them. Where did my arrow go? Have I been banned from using the bow? Excuse me, what? Excuse me, what? Alright, I'm trying also to not commentate much on the video game, but honestly, it's kind of hard when insane things are happening. So, if you do not know who these people are, it's basically one of two religions that happen to. Oh my god, what was that delayed knockback? It's one of two religions that happen to knock at your door, which is, extremely annoying, just like this person right here who is trying to kill us with their bow, but they are horrendously unsuccessful in their attempts to do so. Anyhow, so yeah, Mormons and Jehovah Witnesses are the people who knock at your door, which, as you can tell, it's extremely annoying, but that is at least the first part of the video. So, um, basically, Jehovah Witnesses have to knock at your door, which means that if you are a child and a Jehovah Witness, it means that you must, just somehow survive in the world whilst, talking to people as an 8-year-old with your parents, with your parents next to you, trying to talk to all your neighbors, and that is not fun. That is not fun whatsoever. And remember, you're dressed like in the most nerdy way possible. So eventually, since you are talking to people close to your house, because I mean, how far are you willing to go? You will end up talking you will end up knocking the door of a fellow classmate, and that is where your career is over as an 8-year-old. And honestly, it's all jokes and stuff that we say right now, but honestly, you have to imagine how unironically traumatic it can be. Also, I should state that all these are from people that I know I'm not and never was, and Jehovah Witness. So, yep, that is that, I guess. And come on, hit, register, please. Alright. So yeah, basically you have to imagine that you're getting annihilated in school by bullies since you are the nerdy kid who knock at people's doors. Like imagine like you and your family are sitting down eating at the table. Somebody knocks at the door. Your father stands up from the table. You know how annoying that is, and he has to go basically open the door. And lo and behold, it is your classmate. It is your classmate, and he is trying to talk to you about JC. So you have to understand that obviously JC is not very hip with the 8-year-olds, especially when it comes from weird Jehovah Witnesses, right? We are the Catholic chads here, and they're the weird ones. Anyhow, what are we talking about here? Yeah, Jehovah Witnesses do not put their kids into the best social situations anyhow. So another horrible thing is that their churches, which I mean it's horrible depending on how you view it. I view it as horrible, but basically, their churches function kind of like schools a little bit, where you have to go 3 times a day, a week. 3 times a day would be brutal. 3 times a week or so, it's something around that. Sorry if I'm mistaken, but it's okay. And you basically have to go there, and I do not know the order exactly, but basically a bunch of people are there, obviously, and they read the Bible, which many religions don't. They read the Bible and then they talk about it, and then they ask questions about what they said the previous time. And you can answer, everybody can talk, even the kids can talk, which I mean, it's a nice exercise. But you see, the problem is that the Bible says some very weird things, but it also says some very good things. But the reality is that every religion has their own interpretations of everything in the Bible. So, it turns out that it's not the greatest thing ever in the world to interpret simple text as extremely complex. But everything is okay. Did you guys see that? Please subscribe. Is this guy is this guy fine? What is he pressing all the buttons in his controller, in his keyboard? Why would he be playing with a controller? I don't know, but he's insane at video games, whatever his secret is. Oh. Dude, who is this person? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Dude, who is this guy? I don't have any more blocks. Who is this person? And so, with all that being said, you can imagine how, having a church that is like a school, being a lot of pressure for a child, especially with school, because obviously, even if you are a huge nerd, which you are if you watch this channel, and you liked kind of school, then again, you have to admit that there were some really high pressure points, especially during exams or anything, even if in hindsight, this guy is hacking. Maybe you're like that in hindsight, you should not have that stress, but you did, and maybe you didn't even have stress. Maybe you did not care that much about school, and you went through it cruisingly. But now you have to think about also the religious school, and except did this guy just throw out his rod? Oh, did we? All right, thank you. But now you have to also think about religious school, basically church, but on steroids. Except from that, I can't believe that this guy hit. And except from that, even if you do not have stress, you just have to think about all the time that you just lost. All the time that you just lost. Your free time basically goes out of the window. That is just the sad truth. Anyhow, so these are all things that, are mildly annoying when you hear about them, but when you leave them, you have to understand that is your life. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be fun. And oh my god, alright, we persevered. And, on top of all that, you have all the other darker things that I'm gonna talk about now, which are that, first of all, you cannot, there is a rule that does not get enforced as much. Now we cannot. Alright, I'm including boring games in this video and I do not care, alright? That was a boring game that you just watched. Originally I would not like to put games like that in the video, but I cannot be bothered at 7 in the morning anyhow. So yeah, there is a rule that I do not know how heavily it gets enforced in different places of the world. I know that of people like not even knowing about that rule, or like they know about it and they don't really care, and I know of people that like they know about that rule and they're like basically their whole drama came from that one rule, which is that you should not have friendly relations with non-Jehovah Witnesses, which when they say with nobody, they truly mean with nobody, and they even mean without like with your children. You should stop talking to them if they decide, like when they grow up, obviously you should not abandon them. They did not say that you should abandon them when they're children if they like all of a sudden do not want Jehovah, but obviously no kid will ever rebel against their parents because it's extremely strict. Anyhow, but when they grow up and they decide on their own, they could leave Jehovah, and then this is where the problems begin. You are basically not allowed to talk to your parents. I mean, they're not allowed to talk to you, but thankfully many people just ignore this rule, thankfully, but others take it very to heart, I should say, which it's kind of very actually fucked up, and I know people that stop talking to their like relatives for that, and that is not cool in any way. It's just not hip. It's just not cool. I thought I had projectiles on that slot, but I did not. But we murdered this person, and I'm feeling fine with this. We still do not have anything, but I guess we can do that. Oh, he realized. Oh, I did not mean to walk, but I guess we got the win. Alright. Oh, that was close actually. So to end the video off with like a little bit of a more light-hearted note, I guess, you can say. Oh, no, this person just got projectiles, which is not amazing for us. Alright, we killed them though, amazing. So yeah, a little bit of just a fun fact is that they, even though they're fully Christian, they do not have the cross as their symbol, which is a little bit weird, but their logic tracks. Alright, for me, their logic tracks. They say that like if Jesus were killed like recently, would you use the M16 that killed him? For example, this is just an example, and I have to say that their logic tracks here. I know that it's like a symbol of the resurrection, but if you think of it like that, the cross is something that a Roman dictator probably thought of to like be the most painful way for someone to die, or at least one of the most painful ones. I know that it's not the most painful one. Maybe we're gonna be talking about that. No, please take a knockback. Please take a knockback. Thank you. And then we won. Anyhow, subscribe to my channel, nerds. I'm going to ace my exams now. And also write any stories that you might have in the comments, and I will talk about them in the next episode. Or like never, because you're probably not gonna leave a comment. 5% of people are still in the end. Subscribe, nerds.